Picture the Barcelona of today, a vibrant Mediterranean metropolis of over 1.6 million, where Gaudí's Sagrada Familia spirals toward the sky amid a mosaic of modernist architecture. Bustling Ramblers thronged with tourists, and the harbor alive with cruise ships and yachts. The Gothic quarter's narrow alleys echo with tapas bars and street performers. The city a fusion of art, culture, and commerce. Now, erase that eclectic skyline. Rewind to the year 200 AD. That same coastline harbors Colonia, Faventia, Julia Augusta Pia Barcino, a compact Roman colony encircled by 1.2 kilometers of stone walls, with 74 towers and 4 gates, where the forum's marble columns rise amid temples and basilicas. No whimsical spires. Instead, aqueducts channel water to steaming baths. Cobbled streets teem with toga-clad citizens in a frontier town of perhaps 5,000 to 10,000 souls, a provincial outpost in Hispania Tarraconensis, blending Iberian roots with imperial order. This is Barcino at its zenith, a walled enclave on the edge of empire, where trade flowed from the Mediterranean and legions guarded against unrest. How did this modest colony emerge from native settlements? What sustained its people amid Rome's vast domain? Let's reconstruct this Roman Barcelona layer by layer, visualizing a world of stone and discipline. As the visuals transition from Barcelona's modern sprawl of avenues and metro lines to a reconstructed Roman grid, note how Barcino's urban layout into 100 AD exemplified efficient colonial planning on the northeastern Iberian coast. Founded between 15 and 10 BC by Emperor Augustus as a colonia for retired legionaries, the city occupied a gentle hill-mown tabor overlooking the sea, covering approximately 10 hectares in a rectangular form, as confirmed by archaeological excavations by the Institut de Cultura de Barcelona and plans in the Museu de Historia de Barcelona MUHBA. The layout followed the standard Roman castrum model. 2 main axes, the Cardo Maximus north-south, now via Laietana's path, and Decumanus Maximus east-west, aligning with Carrer de la Cietat, intersecting at the Forum, a central plaza measuring 120 by 80 meters. Streets formed a grid of insulae blocks about 35 by 35 meters, paved with basalt slabs for drainage, 4-6 meters wide to accommodate carts. The walls, built around 1-4 AD and reinforced in the 3rd century, enclosed the perimeter with a circuit of 1.2 kilometers, 4 meters thick and 8-10 meters high, featuring 74 octagonal towers spaced every 15 meters, as detailed in inscriptions and remains at Pla del Rey. Gatesti walls, the Praetoria main, northeast, Decumana southwest, and 2 porti principales, controlling access to roads like the Via Augusta linking to Tarragona. The harbor, south of the walls, included stone quays for Mediterranean trade, with no natural port dredging maintained depths, per sediment analysis from the Universitat de Barcelona. Aqueducts from the Bes River, constructed in the 1st century AD and spanning 10 kilometers, supplied 1,000 cubic meters daily to fountains and baths, evidenced by pipe fragments in the MUHBA. Suburbs extended beyond walls, necropolis along roads with over 2,000 tombs via sepulchral Romanicite, and villas for agriculture. Planning was directed by duumviri magistrates under provincial governors, enforcing edicts for hygiene and building. Unlike today's organic districts shaped by tourism, this rigid grid prioritized military order and commerce, with no zoning residences adjoined public spaces. Archaeological maps from the Generalitat de Catalunya show this compactness defended against local threats, flowing naturally to the architecture that filled it. Visuals overlay Gaudí's curves with Roman straight lines. Columns stand tall, arches frame forums. In 200 AD, Barcino's architecture mirrored provincial Roman standards, emphasizing functionality with local adaptations. The Forum complex, excavated at Pla del Rey, included a basilica for administration 80 by 20 meters, with nave and aisles, a curia for magistrates, and shops under porticos, built of opus caementitium concrete faced with opus quadratum squared stone blocks. Temples dominated, The Temple of Augustus, on Mons Tabor, was a hexastyle structure, 35 by 17 meters on a podium, with Corinthian columns of Montjuic sandstone, dedicated around 10 AD as per fragments in the MUHBA. Baths, like those at Carrer de Banes Neus, featured hypocaust systems with terracotta tubuli for heating, vaults of brick, and mosaic floors depicting marine scenes. Homes varied. Elite domus had atrium peristyle plans, with frescoes and black and white mosaics, for example the House of the Aviary at Carrer de Sant Honorat. Insulae for commoners were multi-story up to 4 floors, of brick and timber, with ground floor tabernae. The amphitheater, outside walls, seated 5,000 for games, of stone amphorae filled concrete. Materials sourced locally, Montjuic sandstone for walls, Garif limestone for details, Iberian clay for bricks 30 by 44 by 4 centimeters. Imported Numidian marble-clad temples. Construction used lime mortar with pozzolana for waterproofing. Sanitation, sewers of stone channels drained to the sea. This architecture contrasted modern whimsy. It projected Roman authority, with over 200 inscriptions, CIL II attesting dedications. These structures sheltered a diverse society. Populate the grid. Togas mingle with tunics, fewer than today's crowds. Around 200 AD, Barcino's population ranged from 5,000 to 10,000 within walls, per housing estimates and Gaudí principles Barcino Romana 2012. Reflecting a provincial town, smaller than Tarraco. Social classes adhered to Roman norms. Elite, decuriones, councillors, and equestrians. 510 domus, often veterans per founding charter. Citizen cives, 45th merchants, artisans in insulae. Peregrini, Iberian litani, 30%, auxiliaries. Slaves, 20%, domestic or labor. Per necropolis epitaphs. Women had rights but subordinate. Children schooled in Latin. Graves from El-born 300 burials show Mediterranean diets via isotopes. Universitat Autònoma de Barcelona. Class-dictated life. Elites in villas, commoners in tenements. Unlike modern diversity, hierarchy was citizenship-based, shaping occupations. Streets bustle. Vendors sell olives, smiths forge. Daily life centered on Roman routines, per mosaics and artifacts. Sunrise, ablutions at fountains, breakfast poles. Occupations, potters produced amphorae, vintners pressed grapes. Women shopped, wove. Slaves carried. Meals, garum, fish, wine. Evenings, baths. Theater, hazards. Earthquakes 3rd century. Average lifespan 40 years. Communing, ludi festivals. Differed from modern integrated public-private. Forum trades, oil amphorae. Trade via Mediterranean, per harbor wrecks. Economy, agricultural export, Baedecan oil imports. Shifts, prosperity under Antonines. Unlike Barcelona's tourism, economy port-based. Curia meets, edicts read. As Colonia, governed by duumviri Tarraconensis legates. Structure, Ordo Decurianum. Consequences, local autonomy. Temples offer, incense burns. Polytheism, Augustus cult. Mithraea for soldiers. Influence, civic unity. Cultural norms, families dine, Latin spoken. Norms, paterfamilias, baths social. Walls stand, ballistae ready. Defense, cohortes urbani. Warfare against Mori 3rd century. Blend to present. Barcino underlies Gothic quarter. In 200 AD, Roman Barcino differed from artistic Barcelona. Visigothic rule 5th century. Moorish 8th, Carolingian reconquest. Developments. Cathedral 13th century. Modernism. Perspective. Foundations endure, appreciating layers.